Yeah, that's one of my all-time favorites of the acid house genre. It's 151 by Armando, released by the Warehouse Records label in 1988. Today, just having a little fun with the Octatrack and the TB. I'm going to cover making the TB pattern, which is a unique 12-step one, syncing that with the Octatrack, making the 707 pattern, and how to record a perfect loop on the fly of only the TB or the whole pattern or whatever you want, and how to then play the recording while you listen on your headphones to a new pattern. So basically live sampling and remixing the easy way. So here we go. All right, I'm going to put the Armando pattern into the TD3 MO. Right now it's being synced up with my Octatrack. So I'm going to hit back and right next, and I'm going to put it to internal sync. You can see the text here. You can have internal MIDI or USB sync. So now that I'm free of that sync, if you don't know how to write a TB pattern, you choose the pattern group. I'm choosing 1 there, and then you put it on pattern right. Going to clear the pattern first, and if I hit start, you don't hear anything. And right after you clear, it's a good time to decide the number of steps. This is an unusual pattern. It has 12 steps. Could be the reason I like it. So you hold down function, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then you go to pitch, and when you enter pitches in the TB, you just enter all the pitches you want without regard to their length or anything like that. So here we have AD, AD, ADA. Now we go to telling it how long each of the pitches is and stuff like that. So it starts out with 2 rests. So I'll put 2 rests in. And then it goes 16, 16, tie, 16, 16, tie, 16, 16, tie, 16. And you see the lights pop down, let you know you're out of notes for the length of the pattern. Then I like to go back another time to pitch to put my transpositions in. So the D's go down on this one. And now we can listen to it. And I'll put it back in sync with my Octatrack by hitting back and right next and choosing MIDI. And right here I should mention that you can change your MIDI channel that you're communicating on by function and channel. You get a timed out chance to change the channel. You can see 1 was flashing for me, so I'm communicating on MIDI channel 1 with the Octatrack, and when I get over to the Octatrack I'll show you that. So now if I hit play on my Octatrack, we're in perfect sync. Now as far as the MIDI coming in, you hit MIDI over here, the MIDI button, double tap here SRC, and that's where you choose your MIDI channel. So as we saw, I'm communicating on channel 1, so I've got channel 1 there. And then as far as setting up the sync, it will be under Project, MIDI, Sync. So I've got both transport send checked and clock send checked, so that when I hit play, the TB starts up. Now for the setup in the Octatrack, I've got the TD3 running here to input A into the Octatrack, and then you double tap on track 1 and choose through, hit yes for that. And to make it work as a through track, you have to be in grid recording mode and have a trig there on 1. Play it once just to be sure. If you hit the SRC button once, you can choose here what your input will be. For me, it's A. And here you can get some really good overdriven sound by turning this volume all the way up and you can still turn level down and it still has the overdriven sound. So for the TB, that's good. So here's normal. Level all the way up, volume at 0. So I'm going to crank the volume. And as I turn the level down, you can hear it's still overdriven. So if you want to overdrive the input a little bit, you can do that. Okay, now let's get into making the 707. So I'm going to put kick, rim, hi-hat, and clap on these 4 tracks here. So I'm going to double tap the first track. I'm going to hit the right arrow. Now I can select Armando 707 kit. That's going to be on my Patreon if you want to download that kit with the special gated reverb, rim tap, and a little bit of bit crushing, trying to make it sound like the original. Now I'm going to double tap SRC, and I'm going to make sure slicing is on. We're going to slice this kit up into the kick, rim, hi-hat, and clap, and put it on these 4 tracks. So we'll hit the audio editor, and these buttons here align with the text underneath. And as we want to do slice, if you haven't, you hit the amp button to put you on slice. The level encoder is the cursor. So we'll set it there at the beginning, which is the kick, and you hit yes. Add slice here, yes. So now we've got a start and end point. We can zoom in using encoder F. And zoom in to that kick and use A to move the start point, and use C to move the end point. Function yes to audition it, and we got the kick going. Use the level knob to move the cursor to the next sample, and that's going to be that gated reverb rim tap. Well, I got to create another slice, so hit yes. Add slice here, yes. So now I've got another slice. I've got a start and end point close to the beginning of the next sample. Yes. Add slice here, yes. So now we're doing the closed hat. Use the cursor. Go to the beginning of the open hat. Yes. Add slice here, yes. And finally the clap. All right, now having it all sliced and on track 5, I'm gonna, with the grid recording enabled, I'm gonna function copy, and I'm gonna move to track 6. I'm gonna function paste, track 7, function paste, track 8, function paste. And so now I've got those slices on all 4 of those tracks. So I've got trigs on to do the 4 on the floor beat. Moving on to the rim tap. It's going to take 32 beats to do the rim tap, right? So I'm going to hit function page, and I'm going to let off and then hit page. Now it's 32. I'll hit no. I'm going to hold in on 4 and go here to encoder B and choose slice 2. Copy that trig. So I'm going to hold down that trig and hit copy. Go to page 2. And I'm going to hold down and paste that trig. And there needs to be another one at 9. So we'll go to 9 and paste that trig. Now I'm going to do the hi-hats. get one of them going, and then hold down 3 and copy different samples. And so I'm going to hold all 3 of those now and hit copy. And then I'm going to hold down 5, 6, 7, paste, 9, 10, 11, paste, 13, 14, 15, paste. Unmute the TD3. The whole thing should be going now. Can have it as gritty as I want it. I like it maybe a little cleaner than that. So, and now I'm going to cover how to record that incoming TD3 or anything you want to record incoming live along with the beat without stopping the action and recording it. I'm going to use track 4 to record it on, and then we're going to switch over to track 4 and we'll be listening to the recording instead. And I will be able to use Q to hear in my headphones the TD3, and I can change patterns, I can audition stuff, and then when I'm ready I can use the crossfader to crossfade over to, well, I'll crossfade over to the recording while we're cruising along auditioning stuff, and then I'll crossfade back to live, and then we'll be listening to the TD3 coming in live. And the great thing about recording on the Octatrack is that the trig itself can tell the Octatrack where to record it from. So I'm going to set up track 4 to be the track I'm recording on. So I'll double tap that, and I have set it to recording buffer 4 to correspond to track 4. Now let's do a little setup on the recording. If we hit function record 1, we can take a look at some of the setup possibilities. So here's the cool thing about this setup here. I'm going to allow the trig itself to tell the Octatrack what to record, whether it's NAB, NCD, or resampling the drum pattern there and making a drum loop. I'm going to decide using my trig what that's going to be. So I'm just going to leave all that on there. I do have to set the recording length though, however, and if I were being a stickler for getting it exactly right, I would set the pattern of track 4 to 12 steps, and I would set the record length there also to 12 steps, and I would get an exact 12-step pattern out of the TD3. But I'm not going to go there right now. I'm just going with standard two bars. If you want to get it exact, I'm letting you know how to do it. You can go into function page, and you could use the level to get the exact number. You could set it to 12 steps in the pattern if you really wanted to. With the trig, you can have it either on 1, 2, or 1. It doesn't matter. And turn loop off. Coming out of this for a second, I've got a trig on 1 so that when my recording is done, it will start playing. Back into function record, you can go to function record 2 here. This F in and F out can be adjusted to stop pops and clicks, and I don't usually bother with that. You've got some quantization stuff. I'm not going to bother with that either. For me, the quantization is that this trig right here is going to start the recording and tell the Octatrack what to record. So it's going to tell it when to record and make the perfect loop, and it's going to tell it what to record. So if you hit function while you've got the recording set up there and everything, if you hit function and that trig and get it yellow flashing, yellow to red, like that. Now you can decide what will be recorded. Let's put it in that menu. Hold down on the trig, and now you can tell the Octatrack what to record. And watch this. Watch the screen there. When I hit these three buttons, now NCD is lit up. Now main is lit up. So I could make a perfect drum loop from my drum beats. Sampling internally. If I chose that one, I could add the TB. Now I can make a perfect loop of the drums and the TB. I can just sample the TB. And this is all being decided by this trig right here. So for this example here, I'm going to just record the TB and nothing else will be on that recording. Then I'm going to listen to the TB that the house doesn't hear any of that sound. Pick something great and then switch over to it. So your track is running along here, and as it starts rolling toward the end there, now I'm recording. And the recording is done. Now the reason you don't hear my recording is because I have used the crossfader just to turn the volume down on that track. And when I get over here to B, let's talk about the setup of the crossfader here. When I hold down A, the volume of track 4 that I'm recording into my recorder buffer, I've got that level on min. And track 1 has volume. So I'm recording into the buffer and you don't hear it. On B, I've got track 1 on min. And I've got track 4, I've got the volume up. So you can see that when I switch this crossfader over, we're listening to what's recorded and we're not hearing the incoming TB. When I switch over here, we're listening to the TB live and we're not hearing the recording. So I'm going to go over to the recording. Now we're listening to the recording and we can't hear the incoming TB. And you hear it doesn't align perfectly because I didn't do a 12-step pattern on there, though I could have. So I've got my headphones right here hooked up into the headphone jack. And so now if I hit well, let me let you have a look at the mixer. If you look at the mixer, you can see that I've got it all the way to Q. That's a little slider there. You slide it all the way over to C. And if I hold down Q and hit track 1, it starts flashing. And that means it's been sent to Q. So now if I listen to my headphones, now in my headphones, I'm hearing a completely different pattern that's coming in live because we're listening to a recording right now. Okay? So I've switched the pattern. So now if I uncue it, you still won't hear it because my crossfader's over. Now I can fade back to live. That's live, and we're not hearing the recording anymore. So now I can quite easily record this new pattern into there. I'll hit function record 1, and as it rolls to the end of the second one, I'll hit that. Now I'm recording. Alright, and now I can swap to record, We're listening to a recording now. Now I can cue again if I want to, or I can just mess around over here. I probably would know which pattern to play next. Now if I want to record the drums in with that, so this is live. Let me go back to the Armando pattern. So if I would just want to make a loop of this with the drums and the TB and everything and have that on my recording, I can dictate that by this record trig right here. I hold down that record trig and I see that that's highlighted, NAB, and I need to highlight main as well. So now that and main is highlighted. So now I'm going to record a perfect loop of the TB and the beat. So here we go. It's recording. All right, now I've got, when I switch over, probably won't hear any difference. Well, it's difference in volume, I guess. Oh, you know what? I haven't set up the beat yet to be part of this crossfade, so that didn't quite work right. But I can set those up so that the beat's part of the crossfade as well. So let me just mute those. So this is my recording. It recorded the drums and the TB. So I let my trig choose all that, and just by holding it down and deciding, what aspects I want to record. And I showed how you could crossfade back and forth using your headphones and using cue. You can prepare something that the house does not hear and then bring it in. So that's fun to do. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I think the next task I'll get to is making and finishing up a big patch collection for the OP1 field. That's what's coming. And I'll put that on my Patreon. So come over there, become a member of my Patreon. You can ask questions. We can learn from each other, because there's quite a bit, as you can tell when you watch me, there's quite a bit I don't know too. And we can help each other out. Anyway, see you in the next video.